What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to the channel. If you're just getting here, please hit us a subscribe and check our content out. Today's video is going to be breaking down woods time, and I have a list of stuff to go over. I got a whole bunch of shout outs to catch up on. But before we do that, obviously I got my Dogtra hat and a Dogtra shirt on. Dogtra went ahead and sent me another package. And they had stickers and the bandana. I think this is actually the full package I was supposed to receive. They sent me this one with the orange hat. That's on the channel too. I think they sent me that one just to tide me over until they sent me this this stuff that has all the stuff in it. Okay, but if you guys want to go over to Dogtra.com and use promo code Mailbrook5, you will get 5% off any product, $200 or more. And Dogtra's a great product. I run Dogtra, obviously. I really love the product, so I wouldn't recommend it to you guys if I haven't hunt tested it and been in the woods with it. I got some reviews. You guys can check that out. I'll leave some links in the description. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump into the woods time video. All right, so woods time is going to be that time that is like kind of like the gray area between a dog is striking something and actually pushing track and hunting in the woods and not. Okay, so up until the point that the dog will strike and actually go off and look and hunt and push a track, we're calling it woods time. That's what I call it, is woods time. Woods time is a step that you can't miss. Okay, some dogs, and very rare occasions, some dogs, if they've been worked enough and not been in the woods, when they get out there, they just don't have the fear of the woods, and they'll just blow through the woods and no issues. Okay, but woods time is a huge thing, and it should be put on a dog. It doesn't matter how old or young or what stage that they're at. They need woods time, and I recommend woods time at night. Okay, because there's a lot of difference between nighttime and daytime, and there's a lot of issues that arise if we only get woods time in the daytime and none at night, and then we go straight to night when we're trying to hunt. Then you just need woods time still. Okay, so with that being said, woods time is a step that nobody should miss. It will make your life a whole lot easier, and you won't have this dichotomy of my dog has been trained well, it does well on drags, it does well on cages, but when it goes in the woods, it just does not perform at all. Okay, this is just a lack of woods time. What woods time is going to look like is, it's going to just look like off-leash free casted walk hunting. Okay, I went over this in my leash casters video, went over this in my how I hunt my dog videos, and all this stuff. The off-leash free casted walking and walk hunting through the woods is all that woods time is, and it's all it's going to partake of. Okay, so when I'm putting the woods times on a dog and getting the dog used to the woods, I will find a patch of woods that I like. I will take the dog there, and I will just walk the dog through the woods as deep as I feel fit, or however far I want to go, and then just walk the dog all the way back off leash and let it do its own thing. Okay, how often or limited just kind of depends on the progression of the dog. Some dogs actually benefit from being laid up, and then they'll have a lot more energy and a lot more things that they want to get out there and do. So when you lay a dog up for a couple of days and then take them out, maybe they'll act a lot better versus a dog that has just been lots of woods time every single night. They get kind of tired of it, right? It's just that one little difference of how they act when they're in the woods. It's nothing detrimental or anything like that, but you could keep an eye on it and gauge your dog, what suits them best. Maybe I'll lay them up for 3 or 4 days and then give them woods time. Lay them up for 3 or 4 days and then give them woods time. And maybe they will just progressively get more excited and have more energy about going to the woods and things like that. Okay, so when we're doing the woods time stuff, we definitely want to zip our lips. Okay, this is a huge thing that, I mean, guys get in the woods, they want to yell at their dog, they want to call their dog back, they're trying to, be all handsy and get in there and do this kind of stuff and just muddy up the woods time. No, the dog needs to go to the woods. You need to be quiet. You need to ignore that dog. You don't need to catch that dog. You don't need to throw that dog in the woods or throw it over in the bushes and make it go somewhere. You don't need to do any of that. All we're going to do is we're just going to hunt the dog through the woods and just remain completely quiet. We are not going to pet the dog. We're trying to not acknowledge the dog unless we are trying to push the dog along with us to get walk hunted on out of an area, and that's what it's going to consist of until we either walk hunt them all the way back to the truck or leash them back to the truck, right? And it's not even technically walk hunting in the woods time stage because they're not actually hunting, but we will just call it walk hunting because we're already familiar with that term. Okay, so being quiet in the woods is with your dog, ignoring your dog. Your dog's off leash, no commands. We're not going to pet the dog. We're not going to do anything. We're just going to let the dog hang out in the woods. And this is just a really good way to build the confidence and to build the dog feeling comfortable, using its nose, finding its way through the woods and wandering off and learning how to get off away from you and get back to you on its own. This is just where all of this hunt and all of this woods knowledge comes from for the dog. Okay, so when it's gone, let it stay gone. Do not call that dog. Do not bother the dog, and especially when we're walk hunting and getting woods time and they peel off away from us, we're not going to follow them. We're not going to back them up. We're not going to do anything. We are just going to let the dog go out there and build its little bit of independence, one little takeoff at a time. And this will turn into being gone. This will turn into staying gone. This will turn into pushing tracks and striking tracks and hunting. This is where that all comes from, is the time when they peel off away from you. It may only be 60 yards, but when they come back, they've got 60 yards under their belt. And you go to the next one, maybe they peel off 80, and it just kind of builds and goes from there. So let it stay gone when it's off away from you, unless it's getting into something it ain't supposed to, unless it's getting on some property it ain't supposed to, or unless it's getting in a dangerous situation. Let it be out there. As long as it doesn't matter if it's not even moving. If it's 80 yards off from you, and it's just plain blank sitting still, just let it stay out there, right? Just let it stay out there. Yeah, and then do not call your dog back until we are ready to leave. This is a really good thing because, okay, so if we are trying to tone our dog and we're trying to tone break and we're trying to recall our dog in the woods time phase, then all we're doing is impeding the woods time. So we don't want to do that. So we never want to recall our dog unless we're ready to get out of there and we're ready to go. Or like I said, extenuating circumstances, danger, it's off on somewhere it ain't supposed to be. Okay, so another good thing that we can do here is we can get our dog broke off of being a light dog. So a lot of dogs are light dogs or tend to be light dogs, especially in this woods time phase. And when you get a dog that's a light dog in the woods time phase and it eventually pushes over into the hunt phase, then if it's still a light dog, it's a huge problem. So we can curb our dog from being a light dog in the woods time phase, and that all that consists of is just shutting that light off. Do not shine your dog. Let that dog work in the dark, because then they'll start relying on your light, relying on you to shine. They won't go anywhere that a light ain't shined. So that's a light dog. We don't want that, and this is the really good stage to wean that out or wean your dog off of a light. Okay, so some things that we can do as a hunter while the dog is off, when it does peel off away from us. Okay, so number one, we can shine trees. We can shine our area. We can walk around within a nice little bit of a, not too far from where we last seen the dog, because they'll always come back, or typically they'll always come back to the last place that they seen you. So you kind of want to be in that same general vicinity when they come back out of the woods. A lot of times what they'll do, and especially in the woods time, is they'll just push a little track out there, and then they'll just follow their own track right back. And then they just consistently do this. Now, some things that we want to look for, especially when we're doing woods time, when we have a dog that hasn't treed and a dog that hasn't shrugged. If they are doing they're zipping like a corkscrew kind of thing, a scribble, like they look like they're scribbling one spot on the GPS. So if they're scribbling in one spot on the GPS, it might be worth a walk over to that area and shine them trees up around in there, because maybe the dog found itself something, but it just doesn't know what to do with it yet. And you just go over there and shine around and check stuff out. And it's just all about being patient and quiet and letting the dog work and be in the woods time and paying attention to what our dog's doing. This is how we're going to learn how dogs are going to figure out how they're typically going to run some tracks, how they're going to get back and forth to you. Maybe some dogs, if you holler, they'll run to your voice. Other dogs, if you holler, they'll backtrack their tracks to get to you. So this is good processing information. It's not only good for the dog, it is good for the hunter. Okay, so this is a very, I think this is the best baseline video about woods time that I could possibly get out for you guys. Okay, so one last tip here is we're going to no yelling at the dog, no disciplining the dog, no putting any type of impedance or fear or anything that is going to put the dog off from the woods. Okay, so right here in this woods time before they've actually started hunting, there's not a lot to worry about. There's not a lot to worry about. Not have to really worry about them getting into trash or doing anything like that, because they're not actually hunting at this point. Once we start getting closer on and they've actually struck something, this is going to be pushed on into the hunt phase, and this is where we're going to start kind of worrying about this kind of stuff. But yeah, let's cut the discipline to like an absolute zero in this case when we're in woods times, because we want the dog to enjoy the woods. We want the dog to find itself in the woods. We want the dog to use its nose in the woods. We want the dog to build independence and confidence and get off away from you and go hunt. So there's my woods time video. Let's go ahead and jump into shout outs. All right, got some shout outs. As you guys know, I have pre-recorded these videos. So this video was pre-recorded, and we're going to get the shout outs that we missed since the last video that came out on Friday was recorded, and this is going to be these shout outs, and we're going to continue to kind of do this in a pre-recorded fashion. I think I can get more content out this way, so you guys bear with me here. If you guys like the woods time part of the video, please hit a subscribe down there on the channel for me. Okay, so big shout out to Holmes Kennel. He wanting the squirrel dog content. I'm just going to be absolutely honest with you. I have not trained a squirrel dog, so this is going to be a learning curve for me, and maybe it's going to be easy breezy because I have trained a lot of coon dogs, and I'm hoping that that is the case, and I'm going to apply a lot of my own training videos and my own tips and the way that I train, and I've told you guys how I train onto the squirrel dog. Right now where she's at is I just received my squirrel scent, and I got it on my stuffed animal, and that's her toy, and we're getting her feisty, getting her worked up, and we're going to build her into barking at it, and then we're just going to kind of go from there. We have a trap set out here, all high hopes. I've trapped one squirrel here at my yard, and it took me, I mean, like a month to trap it, so I'm not really worried about that, getting one too early or nothing like that. So that's going to be the squirrel content. She is only 6 weeks old still. If I can get her to a stage where she's looking kind of good for her age, something that's not boring or anything that's not out of the ordinary, I'll try to get it on video and get a video made on it. So watch out for those videos. They may come at random times because I can't dictate to the dog when it's supposed to do stuff. So we got to have the patience game there. So then let's go on to the next shout out. We're going to shout out Jacob Shuttle, drag stage 4. I told you, man, and I told you in the video, this is expose your dog. Okay, this is one of the make or break things that you got to get your dog through. It's nothing that is too hard to overcome. Usually what I'll do is if they're ho-humming on the tree and they won't tree it up, is you just give them a holler, get on the tree, talk to them, get on that tree, and some of them, they'll just go ahead and get on the tree and slam up for you, or let out a few little barks and start warming up to the tree. Other ones, they'll just come out peeling right out of the woods right to you. And it's just kind of like we have to just work it through this process. A good way to get a dog to just go ahead and tree up is the tree work. Okay, so this is the whole process of tree work, is why we do this, is to get the dog to actually stick a tree. And it's like, I pull the thing way up in the tree, the dog gets out of the tree, trees it, and then it's going its brain, oh, when I get here, I gotta bark. And that's why the tree work. So if we can't get it accomplished with just a little couple yells, then we need to try to go through some more tree work and repeat the process. And don't get too discouraged. It might take you a couple times, depending on the age of the pup. A 4-month-old pup that is doing every other drag is phenomenal, especially if it's doing it with a dead coon or a cage coon. That is absolutely great. I wouldn't expect too high of expectations out of a 4-month-old puppy, but if we want to get to slam a tree when it can't see that cage, we're going to have to make sure that that dog has been really worked on a tree, and it knows that is what it's supposed to do, and we want to get phased out of the sight into the scent, and it might take a couple months for a 4-month-old pup to mature up enough to do that, but you're on a fantastic track. I'd like to hear it. I really want you to keep coming back and dropping more comments and letting me know how things are going for you over there. Okay. Let's talk about Jeff Jackson. Okay, Jeff Jackson, you used the cage video. Man, I love this, absolutely. I tried to pack as many different kind of ways that you can get a dog rolling on a cage into that video, and surefire, as I'm sitting here, I haven't came across very many dogs that will not go ahead and get onto a cage using one of those tips. And I'm just elated. I can't believe it. I'm really happy that you came in here and decided to share that. That really made my day. I know this method works. I know those methods and those tips work. I've used them on almost every dog. And one way or the other, one combination of whatever. And it's just kind of like a math problem that you have to figure out and get clicked. And I am very glad that you got it clicked for your dog, and I'm very glad that the video helped you along in doing that. Okay, so let's talk about Sean Wellman. Give you a shout out. Same kind of answer to you as the squirrel dog content is going to be as the Holmes Kennel guy. She's still just a 6-week-old puppy. I plan on getting as much content put out as I can, but we have that waiting game to wait. Let's give some shout outs to some new subscribers that I've gotten. Chase Myers, Tim Lindsay, and the NME. I like that name. That's pretty slick. The NME. Thanks for coming in and subscribing, guys. Hope you guys like the content. Hope you guys get a lot of information that you need here. I tried to put out the most the most easiest comprehensible advice that I can, and sometimes it's hard because sometimes that we run into guys that have a lot of knowledge and they have a lot of advice, but they do not get it out very well. And I think that I am trying to build like vocabulary. I'm trying to build like different backgrounds to different ideas and supporting methods, so we get a real methodology kind of built into us, and we have a vast understanding. And I think this is where a lot of the content that we come across on YouTube to help with the coon dog stuff, it just doesn't have that. It doesn't have that, and I think some guys need it to help them get along. And maybe if one guy would take 2 seconds more to explain one thing just a little bit better to one guy, that's one more dog that would be trained. I know that there is vast amounts of dogs that probably will never make it as a hunt dog, and vast amounts of dogs that have been thrown off because of issues in training or bad communication with trainers or whatever the case may be. But there's a whole mess of dogs out there that will absolutely hunt, and people think that they absolutely will not. And this is the gap that we need to try to bridge as a community, and we need to get more dogs in the woods and more dogs hunting. So like there's that. Let's wrap that video up right there, guys. Please hit a subscribe on the channel if you haven't already. If you made it this far, don't forget, you guys, use promo code Melbrook5 at dogtra.com for 5% off a product or unit, $200 or more. That will really help the channel out here, and I greatly appreciate you guys coming in. Don't forget, we are going to be pre-recording, so all these shout outs are going to be kind of wonky for a minute until everybody clicks that. So don't think I'm forgetting you, but have a good one. Keep them treed.